Hey everybody, this is Calvin Waite. I trade crypto for a living. I'm not a registered or licensed financial advisor, planner, or broker, so nothing on this channel should be taken as a recommendation to buy or sell. I also trade all of these things, so I probably have a vested interest in there. But there's plenty of entertainment value and lots of education, so this will be awesome. For those of you who didn't know, my subscription channel is live. So look at the link in the description over at cryptoinfluencers.com and you can see how I make all of my trades and what I do and what I think about everything. This channel is for more hypothetical and looking at trends, and the other one is for actual trading, so you might be interested in that. Good afternoon, everybody. Well, it appears that we are continuing the saga of yesterday. At yesterday's close, I was looking for any kind of a close above our what I believe to be the swing, the Wyckoff spring, or the trading range. And yesterday we closed just above it. So it it was kind of one of those things where it had a pretty decent chance with a long tail. But at the beginning of the new day, nothing changed. Things are continuing to sell off in a pretty dramatic way. In fact, this is so unusual. There has never been a situation in history that is in the history of Bitcoin that even compares to this. Obviously, we don't have a close here yet, but we are at 16,000. We are bumping up against the daily low. Our low on the day is fresh. So we're experiencing this crazy thing. Now, how a market will bottom is there's usually a climax. There's a kind of a spike down or some kind of a large volume decrease. We've had 2 days of good volume. I mean, you can see the volume really, really high right now. But what we're really looking forward to is some kind of dramatic move down with a spring back, which kind of sets the bottom in stone. And that's the challenge. If I go to the 5-minute chart, I don't see anything that would qualify. About 25 minutes ago, we saw something that's getting there, but it needs to be really violent and full of emotion, and it's just not here yet. So if we close near the end of the day, near the bottom of our daily candle, anywhere down here, there's more downside. So there are a couple of things that'll kind of help look, kind of see where we could be going, and just kind of get yourselves emotionally ready, really. Because honestly, nobody has seen anything like this. When I plug our numbers and our day into the AI, the closest experience is September 24th of 2009. But if you look at the variance, so this calc column here, it's looking at 9 data points, and each percent here, 0.01 would be 1% of variance. We have 38% variance across those 9 data points. So we're looking at a 4% difference in every single data point on average. That means there's nothing even close to this. We've never seen anything like this formation in Bitcoin ever. Every time we started showing support, it was a continuation. And even with this day here, this was still a little bit more accurate in the charts. 2 days of a 10% sell off on Bitcoin. It's just never happened. So we're venturing into new territory, and not only are we venturing into new territory, but we're also kind of seeing the effects of a complicated global economy that, Bitcoin's never experienced a recession. So nobody can really point to what happened last time or anything like that. So this is this is pretty unusual, and we're kind of strapped in waiting to see where things land. So the chart I was going to show you is on the weekly chart. So if you look at the weekly chart, let me just remove this from the weekly chart. Don't know why it got on there, but on the weekly chart, we have a little bit of an interesting formation here. We have a falling wedge, which is generally bullish once you actually break out. But I need to do a little bit better job of tightening this up. Okay, so this is our falling wedge formation. It hits quite a few points on top, and our point number 3, or our most recent data point, is coming into play. So there is a chance, I would say a pretty decent chance, that we find support here on the week. But that means that we could do whatever. We could have a really long tail and come back and find support on this line. This line is at around 16,300. But this is kind of the one, probably the highest support that exists. The unequivocal support line would come from the monthly chart. So if I go to monthly, and I'm going to have to switch over to more data, we drew this on this line quite a while ago, and it is supposed to be exactly on the top of this candle, which would be, let's see, this one closed at 13,880. Let me just modify this really quick. So the coordinates are 13,880, 13,880. So this is our exact line. This line right here was our monthly high back in 2017, and our wick high. So yeah, the high was exact 13,880, if you can see that, in June of 2019. So this was when we got out of our bear market and ran up and just barely nicked that, and then fell back down for a good long 9 months or so before we were finally able to move out. And then we finally had a month close in October of 2020, 2 years ago, on that line. And finally, that line was finally broken, and we went up to the all-time high and then had our bull run. Well, this is probably the most powerful line in the crypto charts, and it's at 13,880. From here, that's not too far away. It is only a couple $1,000s. So this would be the next logical place if our 16,300 doesn't hold, and that has until the end of the week, so Sunday, to close. If that doesn't, then we have the rest of November, 21 days, to find support on this line here. So I wish there was better news, but this is the technical analysis that the charts have given us. Everything, all indicators have all been oversold. Everything was showing a bottom. But you know what? When, that's the thing about a high probability trade. There is a high probability that things will go a certain way. There was a lot of evidence to support the fact that we were moving on, but there is always that chance. This, things moving up was a 95% situation. And when FTX and the world tried to melt down one more time, there was just no warning of this happening. And usually, so the reason you can trust charts so much is because usually, especially in crypto, there are a lot of insiders. There are a lot of people that know what's going on behind the scenes. And you will see hints of directional changes and moves before they happen. This little move here, I would not say was somebody with a heads up. Normally there would be, we would have had a decent break of a significant data point and then a fall off, but man, we were still in our upward channel. This was just a healthy retracement, like there was nothing wrong. And literally 48 hours later, here we are. So we just have to roll with what the charts give us. And that's exactly what we've been given. The very interesting thing, and what makes this a little bit even more unusual, is I think there is an unusually high disbursement of Bitcoin going on. And the reason I say that is because Bitcoin is now being sold off at a historically higher rate than any other coin. I mean, if you look across the altcoins, sure, they're all down double digits, but they would be, you know, they should be like 3 or 4x what Ethereum should be. And if you look at Ethereum, it's selling off at the exact same rate. Ethereum would normally be much further down. If you look at yesterday's data, so yesterday Bitcoin was down about 10% at close, and Ethereum was down about 15%. So there was a 50% kind of acceleration on what Bitcoin's doing. Bitcoin has historically been the most stable. Well, if Bitcoin and Ethereum are dead even, you can tell that Ethereum holders are actually holding up much stronger than they are versus Bitcoin from a historical standpoint. That means that whoever's in the background, whoever's panic over, you know, their liquidity calls or liquidations, margin calls, people are trying to come up with money. The big money is selling Bitcoin, and Ethereum is sort of collateral damage. But I think there's more strength in Ethereum just by this data here. So there aren't hordes of Ethereum being swept off, or there are buyers that are offsetting the Ethereum. So Ethereum is actually very, very interesting to watch from an investment standpoint. It is falling less, but will probably rise faster than Bitcoin. So it becomes a superior investment vehicle from that standpoint. Also, if you didn't see yesterday Ethereum crossed the threshold. So for the first time ever since the merge, our total Ethereum market money supply is lower than it was at the merge. So there is a little inflation just from the staking rewards, but as burns happen, as people are using the Ethereum blockchain, it has created these burns, and now we're actually 2,000 fewer Ethereum than we would have been even at the merge, which was how many days ago? 51 days ago. And then to remind you, normally if things had continued as they were, there would be 650,000 Ethereum in the market, and we're now negative. It's unbelievable. And this is certainly much less than the Bitcoin inflation. So fundamentals on Ethereum are off the charts. The only thing that scares me about it is the censorship. Censorship is very kind of makes me nervous. But from a kind of a investment standpoint, just looking back at the data today, I don't see the bottom yet. I know that's pretty rough to hear, but I have to call it the way I see it. The way a bottom forms is a spike down with high volume, and we're just stepping down. We're stepping down, a little bit of relief rally, stepping down, relief rally. There's no long tail here, so we have not seen it. This was the largest volume move, so this one here, but yeah, this sort of was this was just something to get us started. Like we broke through a major support and it was high volume getting us there. We are getting a little steeper here, but unfortunately it might be, I mean, tomorrow could be the final day, but it's gonna have to get ugly before it actually gets there. So hang on tight. It's rough to be in crypto during times like this. So make sure you take care of yourselves and get plenty of rest. Take some breaks if you need, but it's just something that just won't go forever. These things, you know, there are rough times, and having this rough of a move after we've already endured an entire year of downside is pretty rough. So take it easy on yourselves, and just know that this won't last forever. I mean, at some point, Bitcoin will strengthen, the rest of the market will chill out. And I think right now it's just dealing with the unknowns of how bad it is, what's Alameda, you know, major companies that are exposed are selling their crypto to cover margin calls and things like that. And literally 2 weeks from now, everyone that had to sell will have sold and will be in recovery mode. So it's, yeah, that's kind of where we are. I wish there was a better way to look at it, but this chart just looks ugly to me. And, you know, we'll see what it looks like in 3 hours, but if we close anywhere below this descending triangle, it's not going to be good. So we are looking for a bottoming candle, and once we get it, I'll try to call it out. But anyway, I hope you guys do well today and take care of yourselves. We'll catch you tomorrow. Thanks for making it to the end of my video. Make sure you keep those trades small. Don't force a trade. Don't get impatient. And if you want to see how all this works, please come over and check me out on the subscription channel at cryptoinfluencers.com. Again, the link is in the description.